CSS Overflow. This is an important setting provided in CSS, which you can use to create scrollable content inside an element. So let's say I have this div which I created, and I have given some title inside of it. And as you can see, I have given this div a class called container. And I created a simple heading of h2 type and a paragraph, and I've given the paragraph a class para. And as you can see, this paragraph has a lot of random text inside it, about 800 words inside it. Now, what I'm going to do is test out how it behaves in different settings of width and height. Now, if I happen to set a finite height to my div, which I'm about to do now, let's say the container div has been given a finite height of, let's say, 500 pixels. As you can see, the parent div has ended right here, but the content seems to be overflowing outside the div. This content is inside a paragraph which is placed inside this div. So to counter such situations, what you can do is you can provide this setting known as overflow. So if you provide an overflow auto, it automatically turns it into a scrollable div and you can store content inside of it. Very simple as that. But auto isn't everything. You need to be able to control this. You can also decide to hide this content by simply using overflow hidden. And what overflow hidden does is it only renders the content on the screen that can be displayed. Rest all content is hidden. So even if I try to select things, it may or may not select it, but it will not display anything over there. Overflow also provides us many other options such as visible, which is by default the setting, that is, it is always visible. So if you have some sort of a parent setting which is to hide overflow content, you may set visible to force it to show it somewhere. You can also set it to scroll, by which automatically it brings up the scroll bar. But if you notice, this time it got a scroll bar displayed on both sides, horizontal and vertical. Now the horizontal scroll bar is not functional over here because our content is not overflowing on the horizontal direction. This is why you can either use auto, which only shows scroll bar on the side where the scroll can happen, or you can choose to have a scroll in the chosen direction. So auto setting helps you to have all the chosen directions. Now let's also play around with the size of the paragraph. If I chose to give a sort of a width to the paragraph, that is 800 pixels. And you can see the paragraph has now shifted outwards. And if I remove the overflow setting again from the container, you see that the paragraph is now overflowing on both X and Y axis. This can be fixed with overflow auto, or you can also have overflow scroll. Now, if you want to only have a scroll bar forced on one side and make sure that the overflowing content on the other side is not displayed, you can use the overflow X and Y setting. So let's say I choose overflow Y for scroll and overflow X as hidden. The result is I only get a horizontal scroll bar I get a vertical scroll bar where the horizontal content is no more available for me. And I'm not even able to scroll through it. That is how overflow works.